You are listening to Digging In Podcast, presented by Rooted Wealth Advisors.
Welcome back to another episode of the Digging In Podcast, brought to you by Rooted Wealth Advisors. For those of you that might not know, my name is John Savarino. I am joined first and foremost by
the founder of Rooted Wealth Advisors.
the founder. We also got one of our top advisors,
Joe Matea.
and we got
Connor Zimmer.
from out west in the big city, Denver, Colorado. You guys probably haven't seen all four of us together, so we wanted to shoot an episode, really just, ask each other some questions that maybe are top of mind, for us personally. Maybe it's for our viewers. You also know that I like to just roll with things and have a little bit of fun with it, okay? So I think we're first just going to kick it to you, Connor. I think what a lot of our viewers and clients, what they're always asking me is like, who is Connor? What's Connor doing out in Denver? So that might be a little bit loaded, but Connor, maybe just catch us up with what's going on over in Denver.
Well, certainly a lot of things to talk about. Out west, in our Denver office, I'm obviously the lead advisor there. We have Vanessa. You'll see Sarah out there. You'll see Jacqueline out there. Just a lot of planning, right? We're always looking to really, have that next best thing in terms of making sure that our clients are secure in their future. And a lot of those conversations right now are circling around, Social Security, circling around, hey, what do I need to be looking out for the next couple years? Mm-hmm. We're just doing a lot of in-depth planning, I would say.
Love it, love it. How's the weather out in Denver right now?
It's actually a lot warmer than normal. We're not seeing a lot of snow, which depending if you're a skier or not, you're probably losing your mind a little bit because there's just not as much good snow. But down in Denver, it's been pretty dry, unfortunately.
You started it off though with a lot of snow, didn't you?
We did. We started heavy in October, and then there was a couple, but it really just died out. There's one, I live towards the foothills, so we get a little bit more snow than like Denver area. And I want to say I woke up and it was like 8 or 10 inches. So I'm like, God, I gotta wake up. Got a little bit of snow. Fire up the snow blower. I was just getting it out
crazy.
of there. But since then I've maybe gotten 2 little small ones. But it's been pretty dry. So.
Wow. When it's funny you say that because I must have just caught the best weather because it was like negative something here a couple weeks ago, if I can remember, or whenever that was. And it was 60, sunny, no wind. I was able to walk to our Denver Tech Center office there, so I must have caught some nice weather. Zach, man, I always feel like you got something going on. Catch us up with Life of Zach Gray and how that correlates with Rooted.
Well, life of Zach Gray, that's a loaded question. A lot going on, chasing 4 kids around. That's probably the busiest part of the life outside of the office. But, excited to kick off 2025 and a lot of awesome things coming. We've got Joey kicking off an office in Indiana. It'll be our first office in Indiana. We have an office just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, in Brentwood, where we see some awesome clients down there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Denver. We'll be picking up yet another state outside of the lovely Illinois. Speaking of Illinois, I think we've thrown this out on a podcast or two, but we're a proud sponsor of Illinois. That's right. Maybe one of these days we'll get out to Colorado.
That's right.
I tell you what.
Sponsorship's rolling there.
Well,
Yeah, that's right. It's so that's been fun.
that's been cool. That's been a great time.
Yeah, football season wrapped up in a good way, and basketball season, they've been competitive, so that's been awesome. But I think it's just really, you've probably seen it more than any of us. I mean, tell us what that's been like.
It's just kind of more community focused, right? I think, one of my favorite things, since the sponsorship began, is just the questions that I get, whether it's just, clients coming through the office like, hey, saw, you guys on the ribbon, at Memorial Stadium. Or maybe it's just someone, that I'm sitting down with for the first time, just saying like, hey, what is that? What does that sponsorship look like? And it's just fun. It's just a good, engaging conversation. I think our clients think it's super sweet. And, we've been able to do a lot of cool things with our clients with that sponsorship. So it's just been exciting. It's definitely been exciting for me. I think what you said earlier is a great way to kick it to you, Joe, as we start to look ahead into 2025. Tell us more about, our new office in St. John, maybe how it came about and how you're feeling going into it.
Yeah, I am absolutely thrilled to be going into Northwest Indiana, St. John specifically. For those of you that don't know, I've got family out there. I do have clients already in that area, so just kind of a natural progression. One of which I'm really, really excited to dig into and to get connected into that community. Been really, really excited about it. Yeah.
All right. So tell us a little bit more, maybe what led to it. Is it just because you had family? Is there, certain, like, community-wise, do you see us being able to connect more and help more with people there versus what we've done in the past?
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head.
Okay.
Yeah, having clients out there already, and my family being out there, and just kind of being in that community, in the last few years.
Yeah.
Just attending different festivals out there.
Right.
Family events, and just being in the area. It feels kind of natural.
I like
just
that.
more of a natural fit.
Yeah.
For the folks that we connect with and help the most.
Cool. I'm pumped. I think, what I'm hearing is just the St. John community and their families. It's just, we seem to be a really good fit to serve them is kind of what I'm gathering here.
Right.
So super exciting. Hey, fellas, is there anything else besides obviously the rollout of that new office there? Anything else that you guys foresee in 2025 that is exciting and maybe something that we want to share with those that are watching this episode?
Well, I'll tell you what, not to back up into
back it
2024, but politics obviously dominated. We don't have to get deep into that.
All right.
But what I would say is that, obviously transition there, in terms of presidency, some different things that, are kind of questions on our mind is, hey, do things sunset with that Tax Cuts and Jobs Act? We've talked a lot about that, right, with our clients, or probably even on some television pieces and so forth. Will it? You've got, some Republican-led House and Senate, in terms of number. We don't know, right? We don't know exactly how that's all going to play. What we know is right now, as of us putting this out for you all to watch, that's supposed to happen, right? So, whether tax code changes or not, it still makes a lot of sense for us to get efficient. What we kind of deemed as this SRT, this strategic Roth transfer, if you will, getting more tax efficient with the money. I know that you all are sharing that with our clients and prospective clients, but I think that it's important for folks to just kind of keep their thumb on things. Yeah, once again, not to get into divisive politics, but just trying to get into a world of saying, hey, does this change happen?
Yeah.
Does, some of what happened via that election change the outcome of whether that truly sunsets or not?
Yeah.
We heard a lot of things, right, throughout the whole, kind of run up to that presidential election of, well, maybe no tax on Social Security, and who knows, right? We're yet to see where all of this dust settles, but I think it's important for anyone that's watching, for them to be thinking about, how does that affect me? And obviously, it very well could.
Yeah, I think in what we've communicated to our clients, and for the clients that are watching, this is. Hey, the strategies that we've been implementing and are continuously doing, it's not going to change, but we're definitely keeping our thumb on things with regards to, hey, Rooted Wealth Advisors, we're always about planning, right? Thinking ahead, setting an expectation. And at the end of the day, without getting too political, it's like we had this plan and we have that plan. And, as 2025 starts to progress, we have a plan in terms of execution. But for now, until anything does change tax-wise, specifically with that sunset, we are going to keep doing, the strategies that we've implemented, with our clients. So, Connor, I think just it's a good kickoff as we talk about taxes. I think you had a gentleman that was like, well, with the election going this way, like I don't see the urgency to do much from a tax perspective. I think honestly, just elaborate more on that conversation. because I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting just because I've seen both sides, right? Some people are super happy with the election. Some people are, of course, really bummed out. And I can see both sides of the equation. But what I think is more interesting is that hearing from mainly prospective clients of, oh, well, it went this way, therefore let's just throw any tax strategy out the window. Like, I think that would be, a fool's errand to do so. We still need to be doing tax planning. We need to be thinking 10, 20, 30 years into the future for you, your family, your spouse. It's not just about these next 4 years. It's about what's going to benefit you long term. So regardless of whether tax cuts are extended or stay the same, we want to be looking at the strategies, and I would be banking on the fact that likely, right, if we looked out 10, 15 years, taxes are probably going to be higher than they are today, right? I would bet a lot on that. So we still want to employ those strategies. We want to consider that it's possible, but I would like to work off the idea that, hey, this still makes sense. We wouldn't do it if it was making sense.
Yeah, love that comment. Zooming out and looking, not just maybe next year or the year after, 10 to 15 years, anyone that disagrees with Connor's statement that, taxes are going up in the future, if you disagree with that, I challenge you, leave a comment. Would love to hear your argument. Call Joe's personal cell phone.
It's on the screen right now.
I will call you back, I promise.
Well, it's important, I think, to understand that even if taxes stay exactly the same, right, which is what we put into our planning software, we're not even assuming a change.
Right.
Yeah, frankly, even if they went down ever so slightly, which I think is very unlikely, I think that it still makes a ton of sense, right? You're keeping all of that growth in, well, frankly, once again, if it's over in that Roth bucket, we're keeping, all the principal, all the growth. That's all the same to a spouse if we're married. Speaking of marriage, you're getting married this year, right? Mom didn't know. Mom did not know. No.
I just got back from Vegas last week.
Well, it's a good tax strategy. Not the reason, folks, to get married.
It's a big commitment.
That's a big commitment.
Anyway, we're going to shift gears real quick while we, it's obviously rare that we all get in the same room. Going to continue with the theme of looking ahead to 2025. Anyone willing to share, without any guarantees, kind of some market feedback or commentary? There's so many things that, in my opinion, hang in the balance of what direction does the stock market go? And I wish I had that magic crystal ball. But anyone just care to share some feedback with our viewers, maybe even to me, of what we see ahead?
Yeah, I can jump in. I think that it's important for us to understand that some of the policy that we believe Trump could get enacted. Back to my babble about politics. Please. You've got Republican House, Republican Senate. You obviously have Trump sitting in the White House. The question will become, are some of these changes pro-economic, which frankly we think they very well could. But Joe, when you hear well, what about those tariffs?
That's where my head goes, Zach. Yeah, obviously that's going to have it'll have a dramatic effect, right? If they do come to fruition. But for every action, there's a reaction. And although that might hinder some areas of the markets, right, it could also create opportunities in other spaces.
Yeah, definitely will.
No, that's great. Hey, look, I know we all got a lot of people to help here, so I'll just start to wrap some things up and simply just say, hey, first and foremost, if you like this type of interaction on digging in, leave a comment, shoot us a message. Maybe we can do some more of these. If you don't, still leave us a comment, maybe share it and tell us a little bit why. I think most importantly, if you're looking for potentially an evaluation of your current retirement portfolio or just want to see, hey, what's possible with regards to your retirement goals, dreams, we'd love to sit down with you. So please give our office a call. That number is going to be 866-766-8332. Once again, for an evaluation of your retirement and potentially how our team of fiduciary advisors can help.
This was Digging In Podcast, presented by Rooted Wealth Advisors.